Good Erev Shabbos, everybody. Sorry about the clarity of the picture. I should be getting my computer back on Monday, so it should look nice next week. In 2006, Iran ran an international Holocaust denial cartoon competition in relation to after there was a cartoon put out against Muhammad. Again, in 2015, they once again had the second international Holocaust denial cartoon competition, also because of cartoons that were put out against Muhammad. And again, this week we saw once again there were cartoons put out against Muhammad, which led to the terrible crime of a beheading of a teacher. And Khomeini today said that the reason that how about Holocaust denial? And I want you to think about this question. How do you feel when Khomeini said that? How do you feel about the idea of Holocaust denial cartoon competition? In this week's Parsha, we read about Hagar. If you really stop and think about it, Hagar should be a real superhero within the Jewish world. She should be a star. Who was Hagar? So Rashi tells us Hagar was a princess who Abraham took as a maidservant for Sarai. And Sarai picks, of all people, to have Avram's child, Hagar. Hagar was the one who was going to have Avram's children. So she must have been a very special person. I don't think she would have just taken anybody to have the child. She wanted Hagar. Hagar would have been special. She left her life in Mitzrayim in order to become Avram's servant. She followed Avraham. Sounds like Rus very much. She followed Avraham, and she should have been a star. But what happened? Why is she looked down upon in the Jewish world? So the Torah in this week's parsha tells us why. So it tells us very simply because three words. It says, "Vatakel giverta beineha." She looked down on Sarai because she made fun of Sarai. Since she made fun of Sarai, she lost credibility within our eyes. When it comes down to these cartoons, we have to be sensitive to other people's feelings. Do we believe in free speech? Yes, but but when it came to the Holocaust cartoons, we feel offended by it. And if somebody's sensitive to something, we should be sensitive to it as well. I was asking once a big Redskins fan when they took away the name, the Redskins. So I asked him what he felt about the Redskins losing the name and becoming the Washington football team. And he said, I'm a really big fan. I've been a big fan my whole life. But I'll tell you that if it insults a few people, then I'd rather call it the Washington football team than to make these people really feel bad. And we know that the Arab world is very sensitive to Muhammad, attacks on Muhammad or caricatures of Muhammad. And so therefore, we should be sensitive to that as well. Yes, we should also speak out terrible against the violence. There's no excuse for violence. There's no excuse for the attacking and beheading of a teacher, no excuse. However, we should also be sensitive to their needs. And if they are sensitive to this thing, so we should be also sensitive to it as well. And just like we wouldn't like the Holocaust denial cartoons to come out and it angers us to hear about it, so we should also be angered when somebody who's like the Arab world is dealing with something that they're very sensitive to and the rest of the world does not care about it. And I think that if we have that message, if we get that sensitivity, if we see the sensitivity that we have for something, another religion, we'll find sensitivity to many, many things in our lives. And it will make us much stronger people. And on that message, I wish you a great Shabbos.